Welcome to Spectrum Sundays. I am Francesca D'Alessandro, Miss Thousand Islands of New York, serving my community through AAA appreciation and awareness for autism. I am also a speech-language pathologist with a master's degree from the University at Buffalo.
And I am Megan Sinisi, Miss Pennsylvania 2021 and the founder of a nonprofit organization for autism titled From a New Perspective. I am also a speech-language pathologist with a master's degree from the University of Missouri.
Everyone deserves to feel accepted and included in every space that they walk in. Our series aims to inspire you to advocate for yourself and on behalf of your loved ones. And we are so grateful that you're here with us today.
Ben Hartranft is president of Benergy1 Presentations, whose mission is to promote kindness, inspiration, and achievement through education. Ben has presented his message of inclusion and kindness at over 40 schools and businesses, sharing his story of being nonverbal at the age of 2 to now being a full-time public speaker. Ben's dreams keep coming true, from being a guest on the Ellen Show and carrying the Lombardi trophy at the ring ceremony for the Philadelphia Eagles Superbowl Championship, to now being hired as a game day staff for the Eagles. Visit Benergy1.com to learn more about Ben's story and how to have him represent your organization. So Ben, we are so excited to have you today. I got to meet you a few weeks ago.
Yes, Megan, it was incredible. I mean, first of all, I saw your Instagram post. This is how it happened. And I saw you and I was like, I gotta beat this girl. Miss America, okay? And I saw you there when they were talking. I was like, I gotta go for a minute. So I went and I said, Are you from Miss Pennsylvania? I said, you don't follow me on Twitter. That's the one thing I asked first.
That's great. And I don't really use Twitter a whole lot. I've been trying to play game. But yes, and that day you had actually coincidentally sent me a message on Instagram, and I had seen it, but I hadn't had a chance to read it because I was driving. So all of our roads lead to here. So we wanted to start by asking you a question about autism specifically. We always start Spectrum Sundays episodes by addressing language preferences. So do you prefer to use person first language, where you would say person with autism, or do you prefer diagnosis first language?
I would prefer something with is your son on the autism spectrum? And I would say like if I meet a parent and I go up to them, like for example, I go up to them or a restaurant or amusement park, I say he's acting a little weird, and I say, excuse me, ma'am or sir, is your son on the spectrum? And he goes, yes. I said, I am too. So that's how a conversation starts.
Yeah, and we have spoken to a lot of different advocates who may feel one way or the other, but I feel like on the spectrum is that good, happy medium and middle ground. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Great. And that's a perspective I don't think we've heard much on this series. So that's a really great addition. And so you are currently the CEO and president of Benergy. Could you share with our viewers what that is and how it got started?
So Benergy, so they call me in high school, Mr. Monero called me, my English teacher called me Benergy. So I had a lot of energy in high school. So I went to my mom and dad, and I'd done a lot of public speaking events, and I'd done it for like a while. And I said to my mom, I want to do it full time. She was like, I don't know, Ben. I don't know if you can do it. So I literally went up to them and they were like, he needs a full-time job. Like he needs something for full-time. And I was like, all right, put a presentation together why you want to speak full-time. So I did the presentation. I said why I want to do it full-time. I was keeping my fingers crossed like this. My dad was pretending to be Simon Cowell from ATG. And he's like, you know, I'm going to go with yes. And then they all said yes. And I screamed and I got excited. I really go into businesses, schools, colleges, elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, colleges, whatever you name it. And I go in and talk about autism and awareness, inclusion, and kindness.
That's amazing, Ben. Has there been one visit that has really stood out in your experience that you visited?
That's a really good question. Wow. You threw that right off the cuff. Wow. Oh my word. I think all of them are a great experience. You know, I love traveling to other states and speaking in other schools. You know, I've spoken in schools in Jersey, and I spoke to two schools in Texas. I've spoken at schools in Pennsylvania, but every time I speak, this pin drops and they go like, wow, we need more speakers like this guy. So I love reaching out to schools and many different other schools. And I love coming in and talking to them about my story. And I think more people need to hear about my story and what I do.
Absolutely. And then also people need to hear it more from people with autism. So there's a lot of advocates out there who may not have autism that advocate, which is wonderful, but the more that we can hear from direct experiences like yourself. So I think that you are leading the way and you're charting a really good path there. And it's really cool that you get to travel all across the United States. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it was really funny. Like my goal was to really travel anywhere. I mean, I love traveling to I love going anywhere. I mean, I really like to start a tour where we go to different states and literally I can go anywhere. So if you want me to come to Connecticut, I can. If you want me to come to New York, I can. If you want me to do Zoom, I can. If you want me to come in person, Zoom, whatever, I'll be there. Like just go to my website, send me an email, say, hey, we want you to come out and we'll talk. I'll get my dad who's my secretary, or my mom who's the secretary, to help me organize what we need to do.
I love that. Always ready for something. But obviously you're from Pennsylvania, so that's
Yes.
where your home base is. So tell us.
Right outside of Philadelphia, like 45 minutes.
Oh, cool. Yeah, very nice. So tell us a little bit about how you got involved in the Philadelphia Eagles. You're obviously a big fan.
So funny story, Megan and Francesca. I actually did a lot of stuff with Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and I won homecoming king at North Penn. I went to a school and I won homecoming king at my high school. And I said to my parents, I really want to win. And they went, no, Ben. And I won. And then Chop actually did the story on me. Then in March that year, they actually wanted to I'd done a lot of research studies, and I went to volunteer at Huddle Up before it was called Eagles Autism and Eagles Autism Foundation. And the Eagles called Chop and they said, we want to do a story on somebody. Who can we do it on? And I said, I know the perfect person. So they said, we woke up and we wanted to do a story on you. So I was like, no, you didn't. And I was like, yes, they did. So they filmed me, they did a documentary on me. You worked that up on my website.
That is so incredible. And, I was going to mention earlier, it's amazing that you were able to turn your love for talking and your energy into a career for yourself, because a lot of people fear public speaking and doing interviews, but it's so natural for you. And it's and I think our viewers are really going to love hearing more about your story. But getting back to the topic of the Eagles, what was it like to carry the Lombardi trophy after the Eagles won the Super Bowl?
I mean, honestly, I love Jason Kelce in his memories outfit, and then when Brandon Graham did the strip sack in the Super Bowl. But I never really imagined me carrying the trophy. I never talked about it. Like, we were coming back from an appointment after the Eagles did the story, and it was after a cruise. I get a call from my dad, and I'm like, what's up, Dad? He goes, what are we doing tomorrow night, Stan and Ben? I'm like, I don't know, why? Well, the Eagles organization called, and Ryan Hammond, who's the executive director, they called and she said, they needed somebody to carry the Lombardi trophy tomorrow night at the ring ceremony. And I'm like, I'm in. So my heart rate instead of going to Six Flags, we went there instead. And my heart rate was from 77 to 144. And then I got to dance with the players, did chest bumps with Chris Long, Jason Peters, Jay Jai. It was great.
Wow, that is amazing. That is such a unique opportunity. And I can pretty confidently say that not a whole lot of people have had that kind of chance to carry the Lombardi trophy. So congratulations on that accomplishment. And you have really become a face for the Philadelphia Eagles. And
I have, yeah.
especially the Eagles Autism Challenge. So what was your favorite part about being involved in the Eagles Autism Challenge this year?
I think going back to, can we just talk about the Lombardi trophy? Just finish up before we go to there. I'm sorry. I just after I carried the trophy, I kissed it as well, and I did carry it in. I don't know if you know Jason Kelce, so I go up to Jason and I go, hey Jason, do you like roller coasters? Because I love roller coasters, and he goes, oh yeah, dude, I do. You want to go to Dorney Park? I'm in. So me and him, where do we exchange numbers? And I'm like, are you really gonna come? And he really did show up to Dorney Park.
Wow.
I know, it was pretty incredible. And we spent 4 hours in the park together riding roller coasters.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun.
Okay, and you were saying about the Eagles, about my favorite part of the autism. I just think the community and Brian Hammond doing a great job with what she's doing. Just want to give a shout out to her for what she's doing for the Eagles Autism Challenge, and Christian Maurer, everybody on the leadership staff. I think Jeffrey Laurie and what they're doing is really, really incredible. I'm so grateful to knowing them, and yeah, I'm just so proud that we met there, and I just think they want to take awareness to action, and kind of like what Benergy wants to do. We want to make sure we help people understand what autism is in schools and going into schools and talking about autism, but basically energizing the students. And then I love visiting special ed classes as well in the schools.
Yeah, you take hold of that public speaking skill that you have. And then the Eagles Autism Challenge, they kind of, on the flip side, they fund the research for autism. Yeah. So I can't think of a more dynamic duo.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's great. It's kind of like, I love doing more conversations because I love connecting with people. My thing is networking, and my mom always tells me never doubt the Ben. So you never know who I'm going to meet in life, and it's just crazy.
Oh, that's so great. It seems like you have such a great team behind you. And for our listeners who are on podcast stations, they might not see your video. So could you explain all of your Eagles merchandise in the background? Because we mentioned that you're a fan, but I think you're a super fan.
I am a big fan. I got a lot of stuff from the Eagles, autograph stuff. You know, when at the Eagles Autism Challenge over the weekend, I said to my parents, I'm not going to ask for autographs. I want the people with autism to get autographs because I'd rather give them their time. Because I had a lot of experience with them at the ring ceremony and doing coasters and doing some other stuff and working there too, of course. I mean, I had never imagined in a million years working for the organization as a game day staff. And I'm just so thankful for them to hire me and to literally be part of their legacy and their story.
Yeah, and just from looking at your video, it looks like you're completely decked out with Eagles merchandise. I see an eagle in the background, chilling on the desk.
Oh, I found this at a thrift store, so.
Oh, cool.
So cute. It's my sweet friend.
That's great. Well, that's awesome. So we really, I think our missions really align so well between Spectrum Sundays and what your mission is with Benergy. So there are still a lot of stereotypes and misconceptions regarding autism. What is something you'd really like people to understand better about those who are on the spectrum?
So I have a great quote, and I wrote this when I was in 2018, I apologize. And I wanted to say this, and I'll tell you the backstory of it. And having autism is really not a bad thing. It doesn't characterize who we are. Everyone is unique and special, just like a rainbow.
Yeah, I love that so much. That's also when I speak to students, I say about the rainbow or like a snowflake or a fingerprint. Not any one person has the same type of fingerprint. And the rainbow too. I think even using that visual, the rainbow, we all kind of blend with each other too, like a rainbow.
Yeah, that's so true. The backstory of that is me and my mom I was like very young, and my mom, it was raining and a rainbow came out, and my mom said, Dad, look at the rainbow. And I wasn't paying attention, and my mom was like, how am I going to ever teach them concept, concrete versus non-concrete, or God's love, or anything? Fast forward, we're in Florida, and I said, Mom, look at the rainbow. The full circle came together. So that's how I made that quote.
We love to hear those kinds of stories. And in our next episode, we'll get to talk a little bit more about how you started off as a young boy, nonverbal, and then you became this incredible public speaker. But for this conversation today, we are kind of wrapping up a little bit. So if there's one thing that you want our listeners to remember about autism, or about even your passion, just to be in the community and be a proponent for the Eagles Autism Challenge, what would you want them to remember?
I just want them to remember to dream big, be successful, be kind to one another. And then I wanted to say this, I always say this in my presentations. If you ever see somebody sitting alone, join them. That's what I would do. If you see somebody feeling alone, invite them. If you see somebody being unkind, and I say this to all those kids, work around the room, work at your resources. They have tools. They can go up to a teacher and ask for help.
That is so important. and taking that initiative, like you said, to go sit with someone or start that conversation. That's exactly the right message. Well, thank you so much for visiting with us on Spectrum Sundays, Ben. We really loved having you on, and we're excited to meet you again on our second episode. And if you enjoyed this episode and would like to learn more about Ben's story, please follow him on Instagram at BenRCT, on Twitter at Benergy1 and on Facebook.com/Ben.Hartranft. And you can also visit Benergy1.com to book Ben for presentations. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you next Sunday.
Thank you for listening to Spectrum Sundays. We are your hosts, Francesca D'Alessandro, Miss Thousand Islands.
And Miss Pennsylvania, Megan Sinisi. Please make sure to subscribe to our series and follow us on social media to stay connected to autism professionals and self-advocates.
And remember, true impact is accomplished through active listening and exploring the world through a variety of perspectives.
Join us next week on Spectrum Sundays to help cultivate a community of inclusion, appreciation, and acceptance around autism.